Cosmic fire, love, and blessings to you. So, I've been contemplating worldly events through a metaphysical lens. And that would really be a summary of what this expression, what might be called this YouTube channel, is about, right? And if you've already watched the first video where I was moved to dive into this conversation right now around abortion and as viewed through the lens of reincarnation, right? If you haven't watched that, feel free to take a peek. But in this particular expression, I'm called to share about politics through a metaphysical lens. And it's such an interesting, many-layered cake of nuance. Oh, there's an expression. But when I look at what's happening now, politics through a metaphysical lens, I'm inspired by a teaching of an angelic presence. It's known as Cryon, Kryon. And Cryon's talked about a number of things. Cryon, if you're not familiar with Cryon, worth looking up. And one of my axioms of the metaphysical journey is don't believe a word that I say. All right. So what I'm sharing, if there's anything that I say that it doesn't resonate with you, then, beautiful. This is a free will universe. But I do invite you to look up Cryon if you haven't. Because, wow, he's been around for a while. Now, we're talking about an angelic magnetic presence. So this is an intelligence, like one of the cosmic fellowship, right, that is expressing through a human being as a channel. Now, one of the things that Cryon has done is to express truths that then have been validated that were previously unknown. So building a legitimacy, right? So Cryon it's proven to be credible. Even if you don't take my word for it, go find out for yourself. Right the way down to the magnetic field changing and them having to rewrite numbers on airstrip landing. They've had to change the numbers of the magnetic headings on airstrips, right? Cryon was actually communicating that would be needed to be done before it was needed to be done, right? So there's just one little snippet for you. What Cryon has done, though, of the many beautiful things that Cryon's talked about, one thing that really stands out to me in this moment is he's talking about, or they're talking about, because let's face it, male, female, in the cosmic fellowship, once we shed these meat suits, these bodies, right, male, female, it's just a polarity. It's an emphasis of energy. It's not, we're so good as humanity, making God in our image, right? So it'd be so easy to project this idea of gender in the physical sense upon a cosmic intelligence, one of the cosmic fellowships such as Cryon. So ultimately, what Cryon talks about with politics is that as we awaken, we will gain this ability, the mass of humanity will gain this ability to detect, to have a higher level of empathy, to witness a politician sharing their platform, expressing their rhetoric, their oration, just talking their talk, getting on the stump, pitching their position and what they'll do if you vote them in, right? And what Cryon talks about is that what will happen is that because this journey of awakening by humanity is a gradual one, but as it unfolds, there are a number of aspects in our experience that will become very apparent. And one of those will be our ability to read people. We will be able, even today, in our mainstream understanding of, say, mother's intuition, for example, or female intuition, right? There is already an innate intelligence in how we are, the mainstream collective of humanity is already realizing, the brain, the mind, there's so much more going on than we really know. And I think there's an acknowledgement that science hasn't, delved and gotten all the answers for that, right? So even though we're in the baby steps, we're taking baby steps right now, many of us, that will evolve into telepathy. That will evolve into something that could be described and has been described as the science of impression. That's actually where we're going. And even the idea of channeling will evolve to when there won't be channels, that we will all be communing with the I Am Presence and expressing the divine will of the Christ consciousness, the I Am Presence. So as we awaken, this will, for some, be a gradual, or for others be a rapid, but an expansion of awakened capability, which will include the ability to hear someone and have a high level of empathy and really feel in to, are they being truthful? And that what Cryon has said is that one of the primary influences and motivators of the mass of humanity when receiving the message of politicians will be, they will be able to feel into the compassion of the candidate. We are here in the school of duality to gain a master's of compassion, right? So how fitting is it that Crown would use this word compassion? And so I'm sensing I'm being called to share this particular message because understanding politics through the metaphysical lens, the idea though of being able to witness and observe politics, not to be corrupted by the fear energy, not to be, caught up in that vortex of fear, but to look at it and to behold that truth, to behold the Immaculate Conception, to behold the divine is expressing through everyone involved, and just to bring love, right? And to be informed of some specifics that are being said. But as you are observing, then the opportunity can be, well, right now I'm observing to a certain level. There'll be a time when humanity awakens and the masses will be voting for politicians that truly are compassionate, that truly are good, right? And that will be how politics fundamentally is changed from within. So I invite you, if you happen to catch wind of political news, of political stories, of politicians, of the overreaching, the focus on power, the focus on corruption, treating corporations like entities and letting money corrupt politics, which is a ghastly, ghoulish perversion of what the US Constitution and the US government was supposed to be in terms of the executive branch, the judicial branch, the congressional branch, right? The US Constitution was a divinely guided instrument, and it's been eroded. It hasn't been eroded, but there have been loopholes and amendments and laws passed. And so right now we're in the middle of that quagmire, looking at all of that stuff that's going on. And the invitation is, as you look at that stuff that's going on, is to really know that we are awakening, that what we're witnessing is just temporary, that what will unfold will be humanity truly voting for politicians that are coming from light and love, and that politics will evolve, that what we look at and what we are looking at in any given now moment is but a product of what Cryon has also called the age of the barbarian. Do you know that's how we'll actually refer to this age? It will be known as the age of the barbarian, because the collective is a bit barbaric, right? As much as we're called to view and to know the Immaculate Conception, there's some barbarism there. Anyway, I invite you just to connect with that, just to know that if you happen to read political news or hear political news or be in a conversation concerning political events and developments and investigations and committees, just to know it's transitory. And in this moment, when you're called to vote, that you turn to the higher self within and you qualify. You seek that guidance, that qualified guidance. In other words, to use the old vernacular, pray, right? But don't pray to a God outside, like affirmatively pray and ask the higher self. Okay, so is this politician that I'm watching, are they truly coming from a place of compassion, to the best that they can? All right. And whether you do muscle testing, swing a pendulum, get out the dowling rods, or you've fine-tuned the ability to actually hear or get a real feeling sense of what the divine within you would have you know, listen. If you do not ask, you cannot receive. So ask for guidance. And as you observe these politicians, then ask to be guided to know, are they coming from a place of love and light? And then as the I am, the higher self guides you, act accordingly. And oh, beloved, how life is simplified when you truly begin to grasp the depths of embodiment of thy will be done. Thy will be done. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Thy will be done. That takes you asking, what is thy will, right? So however you do it. And then when you come to the answer, then you can respond from that place of awakened awareness. You can embody that energy of what humanity will become. You can stand as a vanguard, observing these current barbaric age decisions that will age like milk. Let's face it. 40 years from now, we'll look back at this and we'll be like, whoa. But there will be so much that will be different too. And just to observe and know in that way. So you will be doing two things when you engage in that way. The first thing you will be doing is you will be embodying the vision for humanity to awaken to its spiritual magnificence. And secondly, you will be bringing about the thought plus feeling that manifests, and you will be contributing to the creation of something new. Now, what an invitation that is. And why wouldn't you accept it? Cosmic fire. Love and blessings.